Welcome to the Library of Fiction, your gateway to literary bliss. In the remnants of a city torn apart by war, where the air hung heavy with acrid smoke and the echoes of distant explosions still rattled the fragile silence of the early dawn, I watched as life attempted to pull itself from the jaws of destruction. The ground was strewn with debris, as if the very soul of the city had been flung across the earth in a chaotic dance, playing host to the screeches of twisted metal and the somber cries of the lost. I stood in the shadows of what remained of St. Michael's Cathedral, its once majestic spires now crumbled and misshapen, like broken fingers reaching desperately for a sky that no longer cared. The city had been a bustling hive of laughter, music, and life, a place where families raised their children, where lovers strolled hand in hand beneath blooming cherry blossoms in the park. But now it was a graveyard of forgotten dreams. I had come to document the aftermath, to capture the human condition in all its resilience and despair, but as I stood there clutching my camera, a heavy weight settled upon me, the unwelcome reality of my witness. The war had left its mark, not just on the buildings and streets, but upon the very hearts of those who survived it. Amidst the rubble, I spotted a small group of people huddled together, their clothing patched and dirty, faces streaked with soot and the wear of sleepless nights. They gathered around a fire, the warmth haloing them in the biting cold of the morning. An old woman, her hair a cascade of silver strands, shared stories of better days. Her voice trembled yet resonated with a strength that belied her frail form. The young ones listened intently, eyes wide with both awe and disbelief, a vivid reminder that hope could still flicker even in the darkest depths. Back before the war, she began, this city was a garden. Children would race through the streets, laughter filling the air. We would gather for festivals by the river, the lights would dance on the water like fireflies in the night. As she spoke, the others, huddled close, lost in her memories, seemed to find a semblance of warmth amidst the decay. But the stories were mere whispers over the cacophony of the past. I could see grief etched into the features of the young men, their hardened eyes betraying a loss only known to those who had confronted mortality. They had returned from the front line, but the ghosts of comrades, friends, family, fellow warriors, followed them, haunting the corners of their memories. The war didn't end, it simply followed them home, a stain no soap could wash away. From the shattered window of an apartment, I caught sight of a child, a girl, perhaps 8 years old. Her hair was matted with dirt, but her spirit shone through, a subtle radiance of innocence, even amid the chaos. She clutched a tattered teddy bear, its button eye hanging by a thread, and I wondered what remnants of comfort could exist for her in such ruin. She wandered through what was once a bustling market square, now a blend of broken glass and abandoned storefronts. There was an aching beauty in her resilience. She paused, squatting next to a pile of rubble, and began to pull debris aside as if searching for something lost. For a moment, I believed she was seeking treasure, but as I drew closer, I realized she was collecting fragments of the past, broken toys, crumbled books, and bits of glass that twinkled like distant stars. I wondered if she understood the weight of her actions or if, like so many others, she clung to the graveyard of memories out of sheer instinct. Suddenly, the ground beneath us trembled. A loud rumble erupted in the distance, followed by a shriek of sirens that sliced through the air like a blade. Alarm spread among the survivors. The girl dropped her treasures and ran towards the group, eyes wide with anxiety. They gathered close, exchanging anxious glances, each of them reading the shifting atmosphere with the knowledge that danger was ever present. I turned my gaze, my heart racing. The skyline, once adorned with hope, now roared with the approach of military vehicles, their engines growling like beasts awakening from slumber. Even in their clipped movements, they exuded an ominous power, reminders of the conflict that lingered just beyond the horizon. My instincts told me to run, to stay far from the violence, but I remained, a silent observer, anchored by the weight of my brush with humanity's follies. With each passing moment, an unsettling cocktail of despair and defiance brewed in the hearts of those remaining. In a flash, the old woman's words reverberated in my mind, "Every dawn brings us choices. Choose to remember the past, but do not let it bind you. It was a mantra echoing through the hearts of the weary. I knew war had turned this place into an echo chamber of sorrow, but I also glimpsed the fragile tendrils of hope weaving among the destruction, fueled by human resilience. The girl re-emerged, now holding her teddy bear firmly against her chest. Her eyes sparkled with an unyielding spirit, a defiance forged in the fires of grief. As the world around her trembled with uncertainty, she took a step forward, urging the weary adults to look beyond the rubble, beyond the terror of the approaching machines. Come on, we still have our stories, she shouted with the unshakable confidence of youth. We will build again. We can plant flowers in the cracks. There was a momentary pause, a collective gasp stifled by disbelief. Then, slowly, the people began to stir. One by one, they found themselves rallying, drawn in by the child's unwavering hope, a hope forged not from naivety, but from knowing the heaviness of despair. It was a seed, fragile yet unbreakable, nestled deep in their hearts. As I stepped back, the conflict drew closer, a reminder of the past unaddressed, but there was also something more, a shift, a choice made in defiance of history. In my heart, I knew this was only the beginning. The echoes of silence were not just memories of loss, they were resonances of what could be, a future forged by the courage to rise. With each heartbeat, the guttural roar of war drew nearer, but beneath it, a new cadence emerged, a rhythm of survival, of resilience, a faint yet palpable song symphonic with the voices of those who dared to dream amidst the ashes, weaving the fabric of tomorrow. Thank you for listening to us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel and share your stories with us. Have a great day.